materials, or maybe even pick up some mulch for next year?
Well, if you want to stop in and drop off, you come in, check in at the gate attendant, and they'll point you in the right direction after you pay a small fee. And if you're ready to pick up something to do a final garden or mulch project, pick out the product you want, pay for the fee, and we'll load up a trailer or a pickup truck if you have that. If not, we do have delivery available.
And of course, you guys have locations all over the metro area.
That's right. For locations and more information on delivery, you can check us out at our website, mulchstoremn.com.
And welcome back here to Eden Prairie Community Center, getting you set for the drop of the puck here on PSB as we have Prior Lake and Eden Prairie. As the Eagles playing a very tough schedule this season. Not every opponent they face this year will be rated among the top 20, and Prior Lake certainly no exception to that rule. They have a very solid team looking to make a run in Section 2 AA this season. As you see them skate out onto the ice earlier this season, well, actually earlier this week, I should say, they had a matchup with Lakeville South. They ended up tying them 3-3. Meanwhile, Eden Prairie, in a game you could see here on PSB, got an 8-3 victory over the Maple Grove Crimson. Drop of the puck just a few minutes away as we'll have the national anthem on the way. I'd like to remind you that tonight's broadcast brought to you by the Mulch Store, also by the Tavern on 4 and 5, who will be showing broadcasts of the Eden Prairie hockey all season long on their big screen TVs. Also Minnesota Hockey Magazine, who will be providing us with articles throughout the season. Nicholson Company as well, and Athlete PT. Make sure you give all those sponsors your patronage here on PSBMN.com. As we're getting a look here at the starting lineup, and in goal for Prior Lake is going to be Bruce Skeitz, who stopped 24 of 27 shots against Lakeville South in that game back on Tuesday. This is a Prior Lake team that returns the majority of their scorers from last season. In fact, the only guy they lost among their top 5 scorers from last year was their leading scorer. Other than that, they have their second, third, fourth, and fifth leading scorer returning to the team this season. Of course, Prior Lake and Eden Prairie have had some good matchups over the years. The last 2 times they've played, they've had an Eden Prairie win in overtime, and then last year we had a tie over at the Dakota Ice Center in Prior Lake, as this certainly is a team on the rise. We'll go ahead and bring Kevin Hagstrom into this broadcast now, as Kevin, definitely should be a good matchup and a good early season test for these Eagles. You had a chance to see them play against Maple Grove in their opener, and they certainly looked very impressive in that game.
Yeah, for a team that graduated quite a bit of talent last year, including 2 NHL drafted players in Snuggerud and Spinner. A lot of question marks heading in. Maple Grove seemed to be continuing to be on the rise as a program, but Eden Prairie responded in probably the most explosive way I've seen them in the coverage I've had the opportunity to be at over the last couple of years, with that 8-3 victory. A lot of young guns, stars, and of course Michael Graham with that 4-goal effort helped setting the pace and doing very well on special teams, which is a good sign early on for Lee Smith's squad as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a team that has also a number of Bantams from last year's squad that are looking to make some contributions to this year's team. We'll tell you more about that as the broadcast goes on. For now, we're going to pause and listen in for the national anthem. national anthem here from the Eden Prairie Community Center as we're getting set for Eden Prairie versus Prior Lake hockey. And while we have a moment, let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup for Eden Prairie. Sean DeRocher will again be between the pipes for the Eagles. He started the last game for Eden Prairie, stopping 34 of 37 shots in his first ever varsity start as he played on the JV team for the entirety of last season. At first line will be headed by a couple of guys who are going to certainly pick up some big numbers this season if they continue on their current pace. Casey Middlestad at left wing, Tyler Safran over at right wing, and Michael Graham will be the center. Graham and Middlestad each had 5 points against Maple Grove. Graham with 4 goals and 1 assist, and Middlestad had 2 goals and 3 assists for the Eagles. At first line of defense will be Nick Lieberman and also Mark Sullivan for the Eagles. We have a couple of players that are out of tonight's lineup. Riley Argetsinger will not be active for tonight's game, and then Brady Shue battling an injury. Talked to Coach Lee Smith before the game as he'll expect Shue back around the Christmas tournament when they play over at Braemar in Edina. As we are underway here from the EP Community Center as Prior Lake will have it out at center ice and will be taken away by Graham. Turns it over. Here's a shot on goal, and DeRocher makes the save. Well, turnover there in Eden Prairie's own zone gives Prior Lake a good scoring chance here early in this game.
Tyler Bump showed off his quick skating ability, just weaving in traffic and getting a good look in the low slot.
Off the face-off, it's won by Eden Prairie, and they'll dump it into the Prior Lake zone where it'll be slowed down by Skites. Now in the corner, they'll try to battle it out for the puck. Middlestad trying to dig it out among others as he gets checked up into the wall by Bump. Still trying to dig it out of that corner. They're in the Prior Lake zone, and the Lakers will momentarily come away with it, but Eden Prairie will send it back into the zone. Good defensive play there by the Eagles, number 19. That's Tyler Safran playing up on that first line. Had a very good JV career, their leading scorer last season. There's a big collision out there at center ice. Throwing around the lumber was Derek Daggard. And now both teams are off on a switch as leading the rush will be Lincoln Eider for Prior Lake. They'll pass that over to the left side. And here's a turnover, but stumbling to the ice was Eden Prairie's Cole Lawrence. Could have been disastrous there for the Lakers. Played over to the far side as they'll clear it outside. Eden Prairie will take over near their own blue line. Aguilar will have it. One of only 5 returning varsity lettermen on the active roster for tonight's game. As they'll pass it over to the far side, but stumbling to the ice was number 23, Spencer Steen. Steen will get it near his own bench as he'll push it into the Prior Lake zone where Skites will play it over to that far side corner. Eden Prairie will have it. There's Steen who gets pinned up into the wall by Nolan Beer. Now for the Eagles, it's Sullivan. Sullivan, a sophomore on this team, one of 5 sophomores that made the roster off of the Bantam team, which last season for Eden Prairie was rated number 1 in the state for the majority of the season before they were upset in the state quarterfinals in the Bantam tournament. As we get a whistle here with 14:51 remaining in period number 1. Still no score. You
keep mentioning those Bantam players. Sullivan and Middlestad in particular looked right at home on Tuesday night in that victory over Maple Grove, 8-3 final. I believe Nolan had at least an assist in the game, and Middlestad, as you mentioned, 5 points, already varsity caliber.
Nolan Sullivan certainly did help in that victory. Actually didn't get any points in that game as Prior Lake will dump it into the zone. That's Jack Schultz who will try to chase it down. He'll chip it over to the near corner where Eden Prairie will get to it first. Backhanded off the half wall and out. And now here comes Alex Pizon trying to throw it at the net. A little bit wide though, and now trying to hold it in is Brett Boldenau. Boldenau will dump it back as Eden Prairie will go off on a piecemeal line change. There's Prior Lake trying to weave their way into the Eden Prairie zone. A long shot stopped by DeRocher. That was Andrew Morin firing that shot. Last season had no goals and 5 assists for the Lakers. Keep in mind we'll broadcast all the Eden Prairie hockey games this season. They're very close to all of them. There might be 1 or 2 we'll miss. Still working on seeing if we will possibly get a crew to that trip they'll take up north later in the season when they play Duluth East and Cloquet Esco Carleton. Here's Aguilar sending it back behind his own net. Up ahead to number 11, Middlestad. Now Graham, fancy little move, takes a shot and glove down by Skites. Graham looking to get back on the score sheet after that very impressive 4-goal performance against the Crimson on Tuesday.
He was lethal from the slot on Tuesday's victory, and certainly getting a good rip there. Good save by the goaltender.
Here's Middlestad. Now up to the point they go to Lieberman, takes a shot. Someone will have to punch me every time I call Lieberman Snuggerud. He wore number 4 for these Eden Prairie Eagles for 3 years on the varsity squad. Gets so used to calling his name, but it'll be Nick Lieberman who takes over jersey number 4 for these Eagles this season. Lieberman just a sophomore, and again, part of that outstanding Bantam team we told you about earlier.
Well, you'll be calling his name often this season. A fantastic varsity debut on Tuesday. Did a great job blocking shots down low.
That was Graham who was trying to dipsy-do his way in front of the net. Good defense play there by the Lakers. Middlestad will have it near the far side advertising. Works his way to the blue line, still with the puck, and they try to tip it in. That was a neat little play there by Casey Middlestad, looking for a tip from Tyler Safgren. You'll see how skilled those two guys are, Graham and Middlestad. You get a look at it there on the replay. Very good stick handler by Middlestad, looking at some media from last season in terms of Bantam. A lot of the coaches said he could stick handle in a phone booth if he had to. And the aforementioned Middlestad will try to chase it down along the end wall. Now dumped back into the zone. Middlestad will pick it up again in the corner as he's checked up into the wall by Lakin Eder. Eder trying to dig it out. Good pressure being put on here by this first line of the Eagles. Still holding it in is Middlestad. And there's a shot. They try to get the tip in. As this shift has all been Casey Middlestad just controlling the play. Now it's Graham. Graham with the puck along the near side. Will give it back to Middlestad in the corner. Eider trying to slam him into the boards. Came up empty. Lieberman takes a shot through traffic. Again looking for a tip from Graham. Wonder if that's a strategy Eden Prairie possibly saw, scouting out these Prior Lake Lakers, looking for those tips in front. Now Prior Lake is finally able to get it outside their zone. There's Hansen, who will dump it in. Lieberman picks it up for Eden Prairie as the Lakers are off on a change. Now it's Lieberman all alone as the rest of his mates are off on a change. Tried to undress number 17, Jack Harris, having none of it. And now it's Eden Prairie back into the zone. That's number 22, Hastings. Hastings lost it. Now Prior Lake in the corner can't clear it. There's a shot from the point, and getting a piece of it was Skites from behind the net. It'll be the Lakers who come away with it. And they'll bank it off the half wall, and not out of the zone yet. It's still tied up along those near side boards, and now finally digging it out is Schultz. Good play there to swat it out by number 10 for Eden Prairie, Brett Boldenau, who scored his first varsity goal against Maple Grove back on Tuesday night. There's a hard hit near the blue line. It'll be a 2-on-2 for the Eagles as it'll be dumped in by Matthew Hastings. Hastings in the JV season last year finished with 8 goals and 9 assists. He was tied for being his team's third leading scorer as we're down to just under 11 and a half minutes to go here in period number 1 on PSB.
Prairie does a nice job always pressuring, at least in these first 2 games of the season, the team in their own zone and trying to force those turnovers for some easy scoring opportunities. So far, a couple good looks at the net.
Yeah, for an inexperienced team, they certainly look hungry. I had a chance to watch a little bit of that webcast against Maple Grove back on Tuesday as there's a loose puck out at center ice. Prior Lake will have to touch up and clear. Here's Lieberman. Misfired on his pass over to Cole Lawrence. Lawrence will get it, tried to center it, but nobody there but Prior Lake players. It's Spencer Steen on his backhand in the corner. It's tied up by a couple of Lakers. Still tied up in the skates as they'll try to dig it out. Can't quite clear it. Good job holding it at the point. There's a shot through some traffic. Again, looking for that tip out there in front. Now in the corner, it'll be 2 Eagles and 2 Lakers who try to dig for it. It's Steen. Tried to leave it for Sullivan, couldn't quite get there. Now pinching up on the play, it's Cole Lawrence. Lawrence Sullivan tied up along the wall, and Prior Lake will pick it up. That's Bump. Bump up ahead to Daugard. Now here comes Morin, who will just dump it into the Eagle zone as the Lakers are off on a change. Dumped into the zone. It'll be caught by Skites as he'll leave it for a teammate. Maple Grove will try to ring it out. They do. And now they try to get something in transition. They're 3-on-2 if they hurry. Good at the line. And taking it around the cage is Fellows. Now one-touch pass over the left point. There's a shot through some traffic turned away by DeRocher, who hasn't seen a whole lot of action thus far in the game. As we have about 9.5 minutes to go here in the first period. It's again Eden Prairie putting on the pressure. That was Graham trying to dance around the Prior Lake defense, and now the Lakers will have a 2-on-1 opportunity. There's a shot and good defense played by Aguilar to break up that possible off-band rush for the Lakers.
Well, he had the trailer coming through the slot, but instead tried to get the shot away. And maybe could have made that extra pass. Would have been a clean look. But, yeah, nonetheless, so far, good defense, as we saw, good defense on Tuesday by these Eden Prairie Eagles, with the exception of that opening faceoff taken right down low on that good shot from Bump. DeRocher really hasn't been tested.
And, of course, even though he faced 37 shots, Kevin, in that game against Prior Lake, at least in the action that I saw, it didn't really seem like he faced that many shots, as Eden Prairie certainly had the better of the play in that matchup against the Crimson.
Well, amount of hacks in terms of trying to attempt to put shots in on DeRocher was probably up in the hundreds, but Eden Prairie did a great job in those shooting lanes, passing lanes, never allowing the puck to reach DeRocher. And then in the third period, I don't know the exact numbers, but kind of let up a little bit, and Maple Grove got a lot of shots, especially on their power plays.
That was Skites who had a little bit of trouble there with Andy Aguilar shots. Well, talking about shots on goal in that game you were referring to, Kevin, the shots were down. It was 18-10, the shots on goal in that third period in favor of the Eagles, as DeRocher takes a little bit of a tumble trying to slow down that puck. Always the coach's favorite thing when the goalie goes for an adventure behind the net and stumbles. Thrown out in front, but nobody there but Eagle players. Yeah, they're not able to clear it. Here's Prior Lake from behind the Eagle net. They'll send that up to the point to number 14, who's now listed here on the varsity roster, so apologize to him. And here's number 23, Spencer Steen. Steen will get it out to center. And now here comes Sullivan with a shot. That'll go over the net. Eagles will maintain possession and go across to the point to Boldenau. And Boldenau will send it into the corner. Now it gets tipped to the near side where it's tied up along the wall and cleared away. Now here's an opportunity for Daugard. Daugard 1-on-2. The rest of his teammates are off on a change, and he'll finally be forced to the corner. Good job there by Eden Prairie, not letting him have the center. There's a slap shot through some traffic fired by Lincoln Eider. Not sure if Coacher saw that one cleanly.
Oh, it was a powerful crank.
7.5 minutes to go here in the first period, and we're going to get our first penalty of the game. As we'll get a look here at this Eden Prairie power play unit, which was stellar against Maple Grove, going 3 for 3.
Yeah, and they got a shorthanded goal as well, so certainly off to a very fierce start on special teams in 2014-15. We'll see what they can do in this opportunity.
And Prior Lake's penalty kill really had a tough time against Lakeville South in that 3-3 tie on Tuesday, as Lakeville's power play went 3 for 4 against the Lakers. Lieberman's shot gets tipped.
So the matchup favors Eden Prairie.
Most certainly if you play the percentages. Lieberman at the point will send that over to the right side. There's a shot, and that one may have been tipped wide. Prior Lake can't clear it. It's loose out near the circle, and the Lakers are finally able to clear it. Just under 7 minutes to go here in the period, and 1:29 on the EP power play. I'll send that over to the right side. Is trying to move around to check. Will be the Eden Prairie player. There's Lieberman over to the left side to Michael Graham. Graham down to the corner, now back to Graham at the point. Top of the circle, great pass over to Tyler Safran, but couldn't quite pull the trigger. Graham, another nice play, gets it to Safran, back to Graham. Graham at the top of the circle, waiting, and a blocker save made by Drew Skites as it gets deflected out of play. Man, Graham and Middlesat are certainly good playmakers, just creating all sorts of opportunities here early in this game.
Yeah, they already have great chemistry together, too, so must have gotten in a lot of reps during the offseason and in training camp as well, as they seem to be gelling on all cylinders early on.
Graham, a junior, Middlestat, a sophomore, so you think maybe they played together their Bantams. Well, actually they didn't. When Graham was in 9th grade, he was actually playing on the varsity squad for Eden Prairie, so have good chemistry despite the fact that they probably haven't played on the same line as they were way back in their youth days. And now tied up back behind the net, and the referee says hand pass as it looks like we'll get a face-off outside the zone. And thanks for tuning in here to PSBMN.com's coverage of Eden Prairie boys high school hockey. So we'll have coverage of most of their games throughout the season, as well as some girls hockey games and some basketball games as well. You can find that full schedule at PSBMN.com/schedule. Power play down to 30 seconds. Time for maybe one more rush for the Eagles as it's Lieberman who will lead the rush and pass it up to the far side. It'll be dumped into the zone, and Middlestat will try to chase it down in the corner. Still held in. There's Graham, and he finally lost the stick handle. Now a possible 2-on-1 for Prior Lake. And thrown out in front looking for the tip was Tyler Bump. That was a good play there by the Lakers, but Bump couldn't quite get a clean stick on that one. And the penalty has expired as the Lakers are full strength. 0 for 1 on the power play for the Eagles thus far. And now Prior Lake looking for something. They're 5-on-5. Don't have the official numbers, but the shots on goal have certainly favored Eden Prairie. That shot got deflected wide. They'll send it back up to the top of the circle. And that one also blocked in front by the defense. And now Middlestat in transition will just dump it into the zone as the Eagles are off on a change. As we're approaching 4:50 remaining in the first period. Still no score between the Lakers and the Eagles. And Prior Lake again here in transition. That's been about their only offensive opportunity. The good defensive play there by Louis Rail to break up that possible opportunity. And they'll pass it over to Aguilar on the left. Captain Aguilar can't dump it in. Now another odd man rush for Prior Lake. Open in front, a shot that goes over the net. Curtis Hansen had a clear path, but he shot it over the goal cage of DeRocher. Hastings lost it. That will allow the Lakers to clear it up. Rail will pass it to the right side. And a lazy pass was intercepted looking for Wesley Young. 4 minutes remain first period. No score. Here's Andy Aguilar. Part of a quartet of experienced blue liners returning for Eden Prairie. Shu, Aguilar, Mark Sullivan, Brett Boldenau all returned from last year's squad. They were defensemen on last year's team. Saw a lot of experience. Shu, although not active in this game due to an injury. Prior Lake had to hold up as they were offside. Now here comes Eden Prairie the other way. As that was Spencer Steen who got knocked off the puck. Now for the Lakers it's Schultz. Schultz gets stonewalled near the Eden Prairie blue line. And Sullivan will play it back towards the Prior Lake blue line. Now Prior Lake from their own zone will get it to number 8, Maxfield, who will just dump it into the zone as they're off on a change. Tipped in by Cole Lawrence. Played part of the season on JV last year, then moved up to the varsity squad out the middle of part of January for Eden Prairie. Saw some time on the first line last year for the Eagles. Here's Prior Lake in their own end. They're 3-on-3. Again, another good defensive play. Boy, the defensemen for Eden Prairie have done a really nice job in this game. That was Hastings breaking up that one. DeRocher turns away that weak shot from the dot. Now Prior Lake will send it to center. A little weak one-timer. Beer deflected it wide. And it's Eden Prairie with 2.5 to go first period. No score. Where it will be number 10, Brett Boldenau, who will just dump it in as Eden Prairie's off on a line change. Beer lost it. And now it's still loose in that corner as throwing his weight against the wall there is Fellows for the Lakers. I'll send that back to the corner. There's Aguilar pinching in a little bit from his defensive position. Prior Lake will have it. There's Jack Harris. And just out of the reach of Lieberman, but Aguilar there to help him out. Last year, Andy Aguilar. No goals, 2 assists for Eden Prairie. And tipped out of the zone. Here comes Michael Graham. Graham has help on the right side. Pizon doesn't have anywhere to go with it. He'll kick it over to Lieberman, but it gets knocked outside the zone as the Eagles will have to reset. Aguilar will throw it back in. Now it's Prior Lake losing it, and they try a centering pass, but Aguilar wasn't quite ready, or actually, excuse me, Pizon wasn't quite ready for it as the Lakers will dump it into the zone. Swatted out against the wall, and now here comes Hastings. Gets tripped up now. Pizon will try to send it into the corner, but it's picked off by the Lakers. Boldenau over to the right side. They give it back to Boldenau. Boldenau will cross center ice and throw it at the net of Skites, who had a little bit of trouble with that soft little bouncer, but he covers it up. With just 42 seconds remaining here in the first period.
It's a two-hopper in the infield.
Yeah.
Just able to cover it up with his glove.
Gotta hope it doesn't take a weird hop between the dirt and the grass.
That's the advantage of playing on clean ice as opposed to being outdoors, or in the case of playing like at the Metrodome, you know.
Prior Lake again trying to get something working in transition, and that's really been about the only offense they've had in this game, as it's Nolan Sullivan who's forced behind the net. He still has the puck as he works his way towards the circle. Now will pass it towards the corner, but it goes out of the reach of Cole Lawrence. Prior Lake will chip it outside. 15 seconds remain. And it'll be Boldenau over to the right side. And fanning on a pass across was number 3, Louis Rail. Very fortunate that DeRocher was aware enough to cover up that fan. Otherwise, that could have been disastrous there for the Eagles.
It was also fortunate that the fan happened right in front of his goaltender instead of out in no man's land in front of the slot.
Well, certainly that too. So just 3 seconds left. Draw up your best face-off play. Prior Lake with a couple of ticks left, and they're going to run out of time. Boy, the clock very late to start. 1 second, 0, and boy, the Lakers sure caught a break there. That clock, at least here at the rink, started about 3 seconds late. I was thinking number 20 there, Tyler Bump, had way too much time trying to sit there and stick handle, but that is the end of period number 1. So we will go ahead and take a timeout, have some first period analysis on the way. Next for you, this is high school hockey here on PSB Media.
We're speaking with Rob Friend at the mulch store. Rob, once people have finished up trimming those trees or raking those leaves, how easy is it for them to stop in at the mulch store to drop off those materials? Or maybe even pick up some mulch for next year?
Well, if you want to stop in and drop off, you come in, check in at the gate attendant, and they'll point you in the right direction after you pay a small fee. And if you're ready to pick up something to do a final garden or mulch project, pick out the product you want, pay for the fee, and we'll load up a trailer or a pickup truck if you have that. If not, we do have delivery available.
And of course, you guys have locations all over the metro area.
That's right. For locations and more information on delivery, you can check us out at our website, mulchstoremn.com.
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try.
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
And we're back at the Eden Prairie Community Center, first intermission, as we are scoreless between Eden Prairie and Prior Lake here on PSB Media. Glad to have you with us here on this Saturday night home opener for the Eagles. It's another tough matchup here for Eden Prairie. Prior Lake themselves also will be playing a tough schedule just like the Eagles as well. Let's provide you some numbers here from the first period. Didn't quite catch shots on goal, as every once in a while here at the EP Community Center, the PA announcer doesn't quite have his volume up high enough, so we weren't quite able to catch that. But we can tell you that Eden Prairie's power play 0 for 1 thus far. Prior Lake has not had a power play opportunity yet in this game. In scoreless, 0-0, Eden Prairie definitely has had the majority of the play so far. Prior Lake's only chances really have been in a transition. Both goaltenders playing pretty well. Drew Skites for Prior Lake and also Sean DeRocher for Eden Prairie. Like to email us throughout the broadcast and let us know where you're listening from, or if you'd like to say hi to anyone, you can definitely do so. Email us in the broadcast booth. We're at psbchannel2@gmail.com. That's psbchannel2@gmail.com. You can also find a link to email us below your game tracker screen as well. Again, psbchannel2@gmail.com right here on PSB Media. Also follow us on Twitter. We're at PSBMN. Kevin will be trying to send out some tweets during each intermission here on PSB. We'll also try to get you some scores as well from our friends over at Follow the Puck, as I know he does a nice job tweeting all sorts of scores out from around the state of Minnesota. We'll try to get you some scores from outside the area when we come back from the break we'll be taking here in just a couple of minutes. Kevin, overall, just to bring you back in here, Eden Prairie had the better of the play thus far in the game, but Prior Lake's done a nice job holding steady and keeping this a 0-0 game, but they certainly have to find some more sustained offense as we head into the second period.
Yeah, Prior Lake at least picked it up. It seemed like they gained some momentum following that successful penalty kill. And at least as far as, putting it into Eden Prairie's zone, attempting to get shots in on DeRocher, but overall, as you said, I'd probably give that first period edge to Eden Prairie. Playing a little bit more crisp, a little bit faster than Prior Lake thus far, and having some of those real good scoring opportunities that were just, maybe a little bit of a positioning battle off, or just the timing wasn't quite right, especially on those attempted tips on wide shots down low. For Prior Lake, though, certainly some momentum to build off of heading into the second period. They just really need to find a way to, get something in on DeRocher, who obviously is an outstanding goaltender, but you're not going to score goals unless you're getting opportunities right at the netminder. So we'll see how they start things off. Maybe, if Eden Prairie commits a penalty, Maple Grove was able to get 5 power play opportunities on Tuesday, so certainly that could come into play as this game progresses. It'll be interesting to see nonetheless.
Yeah, Eden Prairie's penalty kill in that game against Maple Grove ended up going 4 for 6 against the Crimson. We will take another timeout and try to pass along some out-of-town scores to you before we have the drop of the puck in period number 2 here on PSB Media.
Woohoo! This is the best dirt bath ever!
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try.
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee. During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please, tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Mulch Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles & Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, the Pioneer Press, and BEC-TV.
We're back here for the start of the second period on PSB Media. Again, make sure you give all those sponsors your business, as they're responsible for putting Eden Prairie hockey and other athletics on the air here on PSB. Also want to thank the Eden Prairie Blue Line Club for making it possible to bring you broadcasts here of the Eden Prairie hockey. If you're tuning in and have any youngsters in the Eden Prairie area who maybe are thinking about giving hockey a try, definitely tell them to do so, as they have lots of great youth programs in the community. And of course, they also do a nice job here at the high school level, whether it's JV, varsity, or also junior gold as well. That's where a lot of the seniors go that didn't make the varsity squad, as they're also getting their season underway as well. I do have some scores from outside the area to give to you, including a big matchup that took place over at the Plymouth Ice Center between Duluth East and Wayzata. And well, I'm looking at Twitter and trying to get a final score on that one. The last one they said was that Wayzata had a 5-minute power play at the end of the game, but that doesn't really help us in terms of trying to find the score of that game. And still does not look like they've reported that one, as it must still be in progress. That looked like the best matchup of the night here in Class 2A. Other scores to pass along to you. Mound West Tonka beat Laverne by a score of 4-0, while Andover leads Robbinsdale Armstrong Cooper, who's a new co-op this year, by a score of 2-1. And now we finally have a Wayzata Duluth East score. It's the Trojans up ahead 3-0 on Mike Randolph's team. So Wayzata off to a pretty impressive start. If they hang on and win that game, they'll be 2-0-1. They beat Maple Grove in their opener, then technically tied Edina in the championship of the Turkey Trot tournament, although Edina won in a shootout, but in the books it'll still go down as just a tie. Kevin, I'll ask you about that. What do you think about shootouts in hockey? Do you like that, or you're not a fan?
I prefer that they just keep playing, but I do understand the kind of necessity of a shootout, at least at the NHL level, because there's 82 games in the regular season, and if you have 5 or 6 games and 3 overtimes, during the course of a season, that's just extra skating time out on the ice, tiring your legs out. So, to the professional standpoint, I understand it. I think, collegiate and down at the high school level in these tournaments, they should just keep playing.
Well, at least here at the high school level, they do play 8 minutes of overtime, which certainly like more than 5. That just seems like it's not enough time, or you get maybe 2-3 shifts, and then you're done. At least 8 minutes, you certainly increase your chance of having a winner.
Or go even further than that, just have a complete extra period, like 17 minutes long.
And check out this transition. Speaking of overtime, the last two times these teams have met, easy for me to say, they've gone to overtime. 2 years ago, it was Eden Prairie beating Prior Lake 2-1, and a great goaltending performance from Morin of Prior Lake. I remember that from 2 years ago. I think he stopped 34 of 36 shots, but had a number of acrobatic saves. Eden Prairie finally won in overtime on a Luke Snuggerud goal. And last year they tied 3-3 over at the Dakota Ice Center. Eden Prairie actually had a 3-0 lead heading into the third period, but Prior Lake was able to find the back of the net 3 times to earn a tie in that game. So both these teams, when they hook up at least the last 2 times, certainly played a number of good games. As we're underway here in period number 2. And that's Tyler Bump, who's probably had the best game so far for the Lakers, as DeRocher will deflect that just wide, trying to hope that was going to go icing. See if the Lakers can try to get any sustained pressure here in the period. As Kevin said, a power play would certainly help, but Eden Prairie's done a good job playing a pretty disciplined style. There's Mark Sullivan, who's wearing jersey number 21 in that game, in this game, I should say. Kevin and I were trying to figure that out between periods. Sullivan switched his number here this season, and now it's Prior Lake for Bump. Bump trying to get it back on his forehand, gets it back, takes a shot, that's deflected wide. I was going to say maybe he had waited too long trying to get to his forehand. That shot was fired by Eider. That's a nice shift put on by Prior Lake's line here to start off this second period, as they'll roll through to Skites as he'll cover it up as he was being pressured by Nolan Sullivan.
Anytime that puck comes loose back to the blue line in the offensive set to Eider, it's a dangerous chance, a good scoring chance for Prior Lake. He's got a cannon shot. Put it on net a couple of times and forced DeRocher into making some tough saves low.
And you see the penalty box door open for Eden Prairie. It looks like it's actually going to be Nick Lieberman who's going to head to the box for Eden Prairie. So we'll get a look here at a Prior Lake power play unit for the first time here in this game. So the Lakers head to the power play against Lakeville South. Very strong, 2 for 3 in that game. As we mentioned earlier, Eden Prairie's penalty kill finished 4 for 6 against the Crimson. Although they killed off their first 3 power plays in that game when it was still in doubt. Maple Grove did get a couple of power play goals late in the game when the score had kind of been decided, so read whatever you want into that. Here's the Lakers from the corner. They'll try to get that over to the opposite side point, and good job to poke that outside the zone by Casey Middlestad, as Eider will have to reset with his teammate over on that right side, Matt Damon. Not to be confused with the actor Matt Damon.
Oh, I totally got him confused.
Yeah, okay, all right, good.
I thought Ben Affleck was on the ice.
Yeah, you would think they would be if the actor Damon was playing.
Right.
Prior Lake will play that over the left side. Connor Clemens, as he'll backhand that off the wall and dump it in. Aguilar to try to clear it. Good job to hold it in by Hansen off his skate. He scored one of the 3 goals against Eden Prairie in their matchup last January. They'll cycle it around. The Lakers send it back down low. Now up to the point to Eider. Eider waiting, passes it back over to the right side. And broken up by Aguilar, getting a stick on the ice. Lakers still maintain possession with 37 seconds left on the power play. There's a shot that goes wide. Eider to pick it up. Will shovel it down low. Now from the dot. Shot that's deflected wide. They try the wraparound. They score! Prior Lake on the scoreboard first on the wraparound, as DeRocher couldn't quite catch that one, and the Lakers are up 1-0.
Saw a similar score for Eden Prairie on the opening goal of the game against Maple Grove, where the wraparound player just swinging back to the backside of the cage too quick for the rotating post-to-post goaltender. Excellent job there on the power play, and as I predicted, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but Prior Lake using the power play to get a good scoring opportunity, and this time capitalizing, take the early 1-0 lead.
So Prior Lake goal at the 14:24 mark. Now looking for more. They pass over to the weak side, and a save made. That was Schlink, who was trying to bury one for the Lakers. I don't know whatever Coach Joe Prankrit said, but it worked. Trying to catch that goal scorer, Kevin. The PA announcer's got to turn up his volume. And now we'll get a whistle here with 13:54 remaining, as it'll look like it'll be another Eden Prairie penalty. Suddenly the Lakers have taken control. Mark Sullivan will head to the box for the Eagles.
Yeah, I missed who scored as well. I don't know if you were watching the replay to see either.
Yeah,
but,
it was kind of obstructed. These gold jerseys are kind of tough to read their numbers on.
My conjecture is it was a single-digit player,
Yeah.
but that's about as far as I can get.
Either way, the Lakers will take the goal, as they're going to have a chance to add to it. And Sullivan's in the box. And Prior Lake will leave it for a teammate. They'll get it back up to the point. Across to Eider. One-time slap shot. Goes wide. There's a big blast there from Eider, who's had a good game, and now it'll be cleared away by Eden Prairie and slowed down by the goaltender Skites. Eider to pick it up. 1:20 remains on the man advantage. Eider being harassed by Nolan Sullivan. Worked his way all the way to the net. Getting a piece of it was the goaltender DeRocher. From the corner, Lieberman will sweep it over to the opposite side, where it will be Sullivan. Sullivan, short-handed, takes a long slap shot that goes wide of the target. And on the weak side, that was Lawrence firing another slap shot for Eden Prairie. This one was on net. And now here comes Prior Lake. Middlestad there to tip it away, and he's dangerous here in space. Middlestad will try to center it to Graham, but Eider a good job there back checking for Prior Lake. Now shorthanded. Middlestad fires a shot, and looking for a rebound was Graham, but Skites is there to cover it up. Good pressure put on there by the two high-end players here for Eden Prairie.
Yeah, just because you have the man advantage doesn't mean you can ignore the abilities of Graham and Middlestad, producing a shorthanded goal and two great scoring opportunities in that victory Tuesday night, and doing so again here tonight.
Off the face-off, Prior Lake will get it out to center ice, but not able to handle the pass was Hansen. And they'll have to touch up. They'll actually be whistled for offsides with 15 seconds remaining on the power play. So PK unit looking much better for the Eagles here on this Prior Lake power play opportunity than they did on the last one, when they, of course, gave up the goal to the Lakers. Louis Rail will backhand it outside the zone. Picked off by Beer. Beer will throw it out to center. They had a player there on the weak side that was open. That was Beer. And now Eden Prairie is full strength. Here's Middlestad with one hand on the stick trying to work his way into a scoring opportunity. And they score! Nick Lieberman scores, and we got ourselves a tie game. Right after the Maple Grove power play, Eden Prairie strikes and ties it up at 1.
Great rotation of the puck. Lieberman breaks in late, times that perfectly. Had some room to skate up to the top of the face-off circle, maybe even toward the dot on that shot, and just buries it from the left side.
So for Lieberman, that's his second ever varsity point. He had an assist against Maple Grove. Now he has his first career goal for Eden Prairie, so congratulations to him.
I think the stat was on Tuesday. 4 players got their first varsity point. Lieberman was among them, so now, as you mentioned, now getting into that goal-scoring column.
Now they'll try to stuff in a wraparound. Not sure if Skite sees where it is. Lieberman again down there trying to dig for it. And now it's Prior Lake carrying it outside the zone, and misfiring on that check was Matt Hastings coming up empty. Took the worst of that one. Now tied up in the corner. Hastings can't clear it out. Prior Lake will send it back down low, or it's Schultz. Weird little play to throw that in front. That was a loose puck. And now Pizon will backhand it into the zone. Icing waved off by the official. As we're just under 11 minutes here in the second period. We're knotted up at 1 from the Eden Prairie Community Center. Pizon can't swat it into the zone. Prior Lake will have it. Lakers up ahead to Maxfield. Maxfield trying to fight through a check from Aguilar. Now there's an opportunity for Dalgard, whose shot went wide. And penalty coming up. Referee a little delayed calling that one, but he finally gets it, as it'll be bump heading to the box. But Eden Prairie will try to get something going as they pull the goaltender. Now it's blown dead. As bump will head to the box, and we'll get a look at Eden Prairie's power play unit for the second time tonight.
Nice response after that Prior Lake first strike by the Eden Prairie Eagles, and now carrying that momentum into this man advantage. Didn't get too much going on that first power play chance of the game. It certainly had the firepower to strike and score from many different angles.
Cross to Mark Sullivan. Sullivan played to Bolden now. They try to go across, can't quite connect. And it'll hop over the stick of Lieberman as the Lakers are able to clear it. DeRocher to slow it down.
And he'll slow himself down, too.
Not much going on the power play so far, as just 85 seconds left, and Eden Prairie hasn't really set anything up yet. And Safran let a little loose puck sit there for a while. Fortunately, no one there for Prior Lake to capitalize. Here's Mark Sullivan holding it at the blue line. Now we'll pass it back up to Sullivan. Across he goes to Lieberman. Lieberman over to Graham. Graham down low, and he'll play catch with Lieberman. Takes a shot, one off the leg of Jack Schultz. Middlestad trying to work through a check. He'll have possession. Now Graham from the far side. Graham to the point to Lieberman. Lieberman across to Mark Sullivan, trying to go backdoor to Graham. A little late getting there. 35 seconds to go. Loose in front, trying a backhand Middlestad, and a good save made by Skites.
Middlestad was anchored down in front of the crease. He fanned on the initial backhanded stab. Got another one, but it didn't come with too much power. So finally getting that offense set up on the power play. 30 seconds left to work with. Off the
face-off, it's won by Bolden now. Bolden out from the near side will have it near the circle. Now passes it up to Aguilar. Second power play unit on the ice here for the final 18 seconds. Nolan Sullivan to Boldenau. Boldenau, Sullivan playing catch. They can't. They're trying to get someone open in the slot, but good defense played there by Prior Lake. And a great hustle play there, trying to catch the number. That's 19, Derek Dalgard. And he'll actually kill off the penalty. So the Eden Prairie power play unit 0 for 2 in the game. Score still knotted up at 1 as we're approaching the 8-minute mark here in the second period. Prior Lake from center ice, that's Jack Harris. Over to the left side to Beer. Beer met at the blue line. And now Sullivan will go across to Aguilar. Back to Louis Rail. Sullivan tried a one-touch pass to Boldenau as he then attempted to go across to Aguilar. Now it's Prior Lake trying to center it, but nobody home. Boldenau across the blue line will just dump it in as Eden Prairie's off on a change. Tyler Bump, who had the game-tying goal in that matchup last year against the Eagles, back there for the Lakers. And a weird pass goes through the legs of an Eden Prairie player, and now a shot was tipped. That was Connor Clemens. And now a collision in front of the net of DeRocher. Nothing materializes out of it. Well, we will have a whistle here with 7:05 remaining in the second period.
Well, Connor Clemens didn't like the way Mark Sullivan defended him on that weird hop bomb pass. Sullivan did a nice job, kind of took out the lower half of number 22, and Clemens gave a little forearm shimmy to the back of the helmet of Sullivan, knocked him down, dislodged the net, and looks like the referees just said, okay, we'll let you guys have a little scuffle. No penalty on the play.
Not a big surprise to see Mark Sullivan in the middle of some things, as I believe he's the leading returning penalty man for Eden Prairie. Certainly a prize that you're maybe not too proud to have, but does show he's a very physical player and does play some good defense. Now it's Nick Lieberman trying to thread it through a couple of players. Middlestad with a burst of speed, trying to get to it.
That was great anticipation by Lieberman to prevent the centering pass.
And Lieberman will get it ahead to Middlestad. Now here comes a breakaway from Michael Graham. Graham going to his backhand, and it was broken up. It looks like by number 21, Tyler Bump, but I think we're going to get a it's going to be in. Thought I saw the referee's hand in the air for a moment. No penalty, but that was just a good play by Bump, back checking to break up that play to Graham. Now a shot deflected wide. That was DeRocher who gave up that rebound. Now blocked by number 19, Safran. And now we're going to get a whistle and a penalty coming up. This time it'll be against Prior Lake's Jack Harris, who will head to the box.
Yeah, he tied up Middlestad right as Middlestad was trying to break across into the offensive zone. And even if you're not scoring goals, just the capacity and potential to create with that great stick handling and good shooting of Middlestad can draw those penalties and give your team an opportunity to score on the man advantage.
On the power play unit, that first unit will head on to the ice for Eden Prairie. Actually, check that. It's their second unit who will head on. Boldenau up to Aguilar at the point. Aguilar across to Louis Rail. Little spinorama by Louis Rail as he'll pass it to the corner. Aguilar holds it in with his skates. He gets it back up at the point. Now Boldenau at the top of the circle. Back to Aguilar. They pass it over to the left side to Rail. Back to Aguilar. Aguilar across to Boldenau. Shot top of the circle through traffic. Loose in front off of a rebound by Skites. And he will cover it up with just under a minute 30 remaining on the power play. Good smart play there by Boldenau just to throw that in front of the net with some traffic in front.
Reminds me of a fumble in football. There was a little bit of a pile on out in front of the net.
Boldenau, of course, a very familiar name to Eden Prairie hockey fans, families. There's been a lot of Boldenaus that have played hockey here in the Eden Prairie system over the years. Off the face-off, it's Middlestad with the puck at the point. Lieberman, a shot from the dot, he scores! Lieberman, his second goal of the night as he gives Eden Prairie a 2-1 lead. Not bad for a sophomore defenseman playing in only his second varsity game. He's got 2 goals for the Eagles.
Well, he represents number 4 very well, passing on the legacy that Luke Snuggerud set forth. That was a great shot. Rose the puck mid-level. Couldn't see which side it passed the goaltender on, but again, beautifully executed there by number 4.
Well, a big start for Lieberman as Eden Prairie's in front 2-1 as they convert on their 3rd power play. Middlestad passes it over the left side to Lieberman as he gets sandwiched by a couple of Prior Lake players and will draw a penalty. And now Lieberman in a little bit of a shoving match there with Connor Clemens. And wonder if that's the veteran there, Clemens, a senior, maybe trying to draw Lieberman into a penalty. See if he can get off settings, but it looks like it'll just be Clemens heading to the box.
Well, Clemens is the guy that got into the scuffle with Mark Sullivan, and looks like he did get the offsetting penalties. Great job, heady play there by number 22.
Taking advantage of a guy playing his second game. Even though he's played well, you can sometimes catch the young guys getting a little too hyped up. And yeah, it looks like they will be coincidentals.
Yeah, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
Clemens' philosophy.
So credit him. I know some people don't like that physical play and hitting after the whistle, but that's just a good play by a veteran player. And Lieberman just got to sometimes turn the other cheek, so to speak. Here's Spencer Steen on his backhand, passing it to Aguilar. As they'll fight for it in that near side corner. Cole Lawrence. Now to Nolan Sullivan. And the Lakers are able to force that outside the zone. And now here's Prior Lake 2-on-1. Tyler Bump. And a great defensive play by Mark Sullivan to break that up. Bump, I think, wanted to try to center that pass, but Sullivan was having none of it.
He windshield wiped to fly away.
Good way to put that.
Yeah, he just went down and swung the stick along the ice.
And now in the corner, it'll be number 3, Lincoln Eider, passing it up to Maxfield. Maxfield out at center, another good defensive play there, this time by Andy Aguilar. There's Mark Sullivan weaving his way into the neutral zone. And that's going to be a penalty call on number 6, Jack Schultz. Very subtle. He didn't get a lot of contact on Mark Sullivan, but when you kind of stick out your leg like that, pretty easy call for the officials.
This game's getting chippy early on because right after the penalty, Aguilar and it looked like a couple Prior Lake players again getting involved, extracurricular activities.
That was a pretty cleanly played first period, but here in the second, you're absolutely right. Play getting a little physical. Well, Schultz in the box, and it'll be Eden Prairie on the power play again. Here comes Michael Grant with a burst of speed along the far side boards. A stick handle on his backhand behind the net. Lost it, though. And Mark Sullivan not able to hold it in. Here's DeRocher out near the top of the circle to pass it up ahead to Middlestad, who nearly had his pocket picked, as he'll be forced to retreat in his own zone. Leave it for Andy Aguilar. Here's Safran. And it's wrestled off the puck. Graham with it. Aguilar will try to poke that back in. Now Safran across to Graham. Graham, fancy move, tried to center it to Middlestad, who couldn't quite get his stick on it. Minute 3 remains on the power play for Eden Prairie. Sullivan over to Aguilar. Sullivan a shot through traffic, and Skites just got a piece of that one, kind of fighting the puck, but enough to still make the save.
Yeah, great job there by Prior Lake's goaltender.
Here's Aguilar at the top of the circle. We've seen them move Michael Graham now down low. First couple power plays he was playing up at the point. That was Mark Sullivan who fanned on that slap shot. And scores! Middlestad there to create the play, and Eden Prairie's up 3-1. Yeah. Or are they waving that off, Kevin?
Looked like the referee waved it off.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like to me, too, because I was not seeing much of a celebration there. Yeah, they are indeed going to wave that off. Well, it was a good play created there by Middlestad. Not sure why they were waving it off, but
Eden Prairie's
maybe
now
a man
had
in the crease.
Eden Prairie's now had 2 goals waved off this year. Against Maple Grove, it was a man in the crease.
Yeah,
And, that may have been it as well tonight.
Yeah, that had to have been, because Middlestad was trying to get that to the weak side, and I think the guy standing there was in the crease. There's a shot, rebound given up, and it just trickles wide. Here's Graham from the corner. Graham up to Mark Sullivan. They pass it over to Lieberman. Lieberman across to Graham, takes a shot, trying to snipe, going high. Blocker side on the Prior Lake goaltender, Skites. And the power play has expired. As we'll try to get our camera plugged back in. Our cord got loose a little bit. And it's trapped in the Prior Lake zone. Now thrown out in front, still loose. Eden Prairie there to pick it up. And now here comes Middlestad, very dangerous, and he can't stick handle his way around Eider. Good play there by Lincoln Eider, the senior defenseman, making a nice defensive stand there against Eden Prairie's standout sophomore. Yeah. Lieberman with a subtle play to break up a possible 2-on-1 as it's swatted back into the zone. One minute left in the period. Banked off the half wall to Pizon. Pizon will leave it for Wesley Young. Young still able to maintain his stick handle through some traffic. Now lost it as it's Boldenau. The Pizon out at center. Pizon lost it. And now we get some more chippiness, and it's going to be an Eden Prairie penalty against Alex Pizon, who will head to the box. We have 36 seconds to go here in the second period. Thanks again for tuning in to tonight's game. Tonight's game brought to you by Noodles & Company of Eden Prairie, as they now offer catering. So if you have any of those holiday parties coming up, consider using Noodles & Company. Do a great job with their service. Click that link above your game tracker screen to find more information. That's Noodles & Company. 23 seconds left. On the power play, and covered up by the goaltender DeRocher, as we'll have a face-off. So just under 20 seconds remaining here in the period. The Eagles with the lead here over the Lakers. And they'll clear it away, and that might pretty much do it here for the second, unless the Lakers will try a long pass, but a misfire up ahead to Bum. Will actually tip it into the zone, and that'll do it here with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, as it'll be the Eagles who will skate into the second intermission out in front of Prior Lake by a score of 2-1. Good game so far from the Eden Prairie Community Center. We will go ahead, take a timeout, and have some more analysis on the way. You are listening to high school hockey on PSB Media.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com. During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Timmy. I hope you're hungry.
Sure am, but I prefer broccoli to mushrooms.
Well, I prefer your brother to you.
Don't mess with Grandma's dishes. Mess with ours instead. Delicious dishes from around the globe that you're free to customize. Noodles & Company, your world kitchen.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com.
Woohoo! This is the best dead path ever!
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try.
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, you weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
Woohoo! This is the best dirt bath ever!
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new
And we're back
digs.
here at
This
the Prairie
compost is
Community Center, second
amazing.
intermission.
Come on in, give it a
Eagles are
try.
out in front of
What
Prairie
are you
Lake by a
talking
score
about?
of 2-1
Oh,
here
yeah.
on PSB
You weren't kidding,
Media.
Larry. This stuff is great.
Giving you a scoring
The Mulch
recap
Store
of
has
that
compost
second
your
period.
garden,
Fire Lake
and
actually
yes, even the
scored
worms
first.
will love. Stop by any of the Mulch
power
Store
play as they
locations
scored at
in
the
Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee
14-24 mark
to pick
on
up
the
the
power
best
play to get
compost in the
themselves a
Midwest.
1-0
Online
lead
at
effort.
mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
Scoring his first ever varsity score to give Eden Prairie tie game up at 1-1. And the Eagles scored again. It was Lieberman, his second of the night, scoring at 5:17. That was on the power play. And that's where we currently stand with Eden Prairie out in front by a score of 2-1. Taking a look at power play numbers, Fire Lake is currently 0 for 3 on the power play. They're still working on their current power play. They have a minute 24 to work with once we come back to the third period. Eden Prairie, on the other hand, is currently 1 for 4. They scored on that Nick Lieberman goal on their last power play. So again, Eden Prairie 1 for 4. Prior Lake currently sitting at 0 for 3. So taking a look at some thoughts here on the period. Eden Prairie, good job to respond after that Prior Lake goal. As Prior Lake, after struggling in that first period, did a good job putting on some pressure early in the second, and that led to that goal to give them that 1-0 lead. But a good response there by Eden Prairie and their standout defenseman, Nick Lieberman, just a sophomore who's played a good game to score 2 goals. And Kevin, your thoughts here on Lieberman? Just very impressive so far for Eden Prairie, with some good accuracy on that shot.
Yeah, he's done an outstanding job. Just always seems to know and have great foresight what's happening on the defensive end. Always seems to be in the way of preventing a big play by the opposition. Stop some shots at the point of attack. Stop some shots right in front of his goaltender DeRocher tonight and on Tuesday night. Broke up a centering pass. Actually went coast to coast and almost got a shot on goal before it was turned aside in the back check by the Lakers. And of course, not to mention those 2 goals, skating into the top of the left face-off circle and using that quick flick of the wrist and just snapping them off faster than the goaltender Seitz could react in both cases and scoring his first 2 varsity goals. So outstanding overall player and a great week debut for the varsity defenseman.
And before we take another break, before we get to the start of the third period, let's get you some more out-of-town scores. And just a couple updates. We have Buffalo leading Brainerd 3-0 between a couple of squads that are expected to do well in Section 8 AA. And also we have Breck up 2-0, it looks like, on Orono in the second period of their game. Those scores are courtesy of Follow the Puck. Make sure you follow them. They do a nice job updating scores and stats all throughout the high school hockey season. We will take another timeout and have the third period on the way next right here on PSB Media.
Woohoo! This is the best dirt bath ever!
Larry, what's with all that racket?
I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try.
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. You weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee. During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please, tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Timmy. I hope you're hungry.
Sure am, but I prefer broccoli to mushrooms.
Well, I prefer your brother to you.
Don't mess with Grandma's dishes. Mess with ours instead. Delicious dishes from around the globe that you're free to customize. Noodles and Company. Your world kitchen.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Malt Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles and Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, the Pioneer Press, and BEC TV.
And welcome back to the Prairie Community Center as we're live for high school hockey here on PSB. A top 10 matchup between Prior Lake and Eden Prairie. Lakers will have a minute 24 of power play time to work with to get things started here in period number 3. And Kevin, I think it's important here for Prior Lake to try to get some momentum early in the period like they did in the second, as it seemed like Eden Prairie was really all over them to start the first period, and it kind of took away any chance for them to try to get something built up. So we'll see what they do here to start period number 3.
They came out quickly in period number 2. Might have that same zest, certainly with the man advantage.
There's Prior Lake. They'll leave it for number 22, Clemens. Up to the point they go to Damon. Second power play unit on the ice. He takes a slap shot and a glove save made by DeRocher, casually snatching that one out of the air. Kind of like a shortstop catching a line drive. Don't forget, Eden Prairie's next game coming up will be on Thursday, as they'll take on an Eastview squad, which traditionally is a power in Section 3AA. That'll be Thursday, 7 o'clock, right here on PSB Media. About 50 seconds remain on the Prior Lake power play here in the third period. And Eden Prairie is able to saucer that outside the zone. Skites to play it. And an open net. Nolan Sullivan had an open net to shoot at as Skites got caught wandering.
I don't know how you don't recognize just how far away you are from the net. Credit to Sullivan there for the shot on, or getting the shot close to the net.
Now it's Prior Lake working it out towards center. That's Hansen working his way in out. An Eden Prairie defenseman takes a shot from an odd angle. A good shoulder save made by DeRocher. 5 seconds remain on the power play. Eden Prairie will just dump it into the zone as they are full strength. Now the Lakers will dump it in, and giving chase to Louis Rail up against Maxfield, who will pin Rail on the boards. And it will bounce just outside the zone as Prior Lake will dump it in. And the Lakers tied their first game against Lakeville South back on Thursday. Pretty even game between those two teams. Shots on goal were 32-27 in favor of the Lakers. Lakeville South, a team that traditionally finishes towards the bottom half of the South Suburban Conference, but they have made some runs in section play over the years as they play in what a lot of people call the weakest section, 1AA, but still South has always had competitive teams. And the Lakers tied them back on Tuesday night. Here's Eden Prairie with it. That's Middlestad trying to avoid a check. Lakers will send it towards the advertising as they'll go off on a change. And that's swatted away there by Mark Sullivan. Taking Jack Sullivan's number 21 jersey from last season for Eden Prairie. Had 4 Sullivans play on the team over the past 3 seasons for the Eagles. 12-13 they had John, Jack, and oh man, I'm blanking on who the third Sullivan was.
Jack, can you tweet us?
I was hoping you could help me out. That was what the pause was for.
Oh, I thought you were trying to plug our Twitter account.
Yeah, well, we can do that too. Yeah, well, definitely. We are at PSBMN. And of course, we have Nolan Sullivan this season.
And Mark, too.
And Mark as well. I'm just remembering that back from 12-13 when they had the 3 Sullivans occasionally playing on the same line. Back to the action, though. Here's Prior Lake dumping it into the zone. Having chase is Wesley Young. Lieberman, who has 2 goals in this game, will try to pass it ahead to Hastings. Thrown out in front, but there to pick it up is Aguilar. Lieberman will send that across, but nobody's there. Aguilar to pick it up. They'll pass it over to Hastings, who had some trouble with it. He'll just backhand it into the zone where Prior Lake will pick it up. Given up ahead to Clemens. Another good defensive play there by Louis Rail to break up that attempt as Pizon will dump it in as the Eagles are off on a change.
Something I've noticed about both these teams is their defensemen are not afraid to play that fire wagon style hockey where they get past the tops of the face-off circles.
Prior Lake into the Eden Prairie zone, possibly 3-on-2 if they hurry. They tried to get that out in front of Fellows, but he was all tied up by the Eden Prairie defense. Now at the top of the circle, loose puck, and somehow Fellows is able to maintain possession and throw it at the net. Rocher to turn it away. And Rail will shoot that in to the Eden Prairie bench. With 12:26 to go here in third period. Tavern on 4 and 5 brings you coverage of tonight's game. You can stop by throughout the winter as they'll be showing our broadcasts on their big screen TV. They also serve delicious breakfasts 7 days a week. Make sure you check that out. They have some delicious breakfasts that you really got to check out, including that homemade syrup that they put on their waffles. Also French toast. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5. There's a slap shot. That was turned away by the goaltender DeRocher. Tavern on 4 and 5 just blocks the Eden Prairie High School.
Eric Doggard got to a loose puck and really got a good ride into DeRocher. Nice job there, sliding from his right to his left to make that save.
Lakers have been putting on some decent pressure here in the third period, but haven't really had any grade A scoring chances. Misfire on that pass up to Michael Graham. Now picking it up is Middlestad in space. He'll pass it over to the right side to Safrin. Tried to make a move around the Prior Lake defenseman, but just getting a piece of it was Clemens. Now here's Prior Lake the other way. A shot saved. DeRocher trying to go 5-hole. It's now loose out in front in the circle, and it'll be backhanded outside the zone as it's Mark Sullivan, and he'll just dump it in. Good back and forth action as Aguilar will send it right back into the Prior Lake end.
They're scoring 4 goals, having 5 total points. Michael Graham's been fairly held in check, and I would say he's not skating any worse or playing any worse, but Prior Lake seems to have tuned into exactly what he did, just thrashing the Crimson, and have really limited him, putting bodies on him in space to prevent him from getting good looks and at their netminder.
I agree on that first line. It's kind of been Middlestad who's been creating most of the havoc. As Aguilar will get that out in front, try to get a tip. And now on his knees trying to take a shot was Safrin out in front. Now Aguilar will pass that over to Rail. Here's Rail into the zone. Hops over the stick as Spencer Steen. Now carrying it in is Casey Middlestad, trying to avoid the check of Damon. Near the EP logo, Prior Lake will send it into the zone, but Eden Prairie has it. There's Boldenau. Now Middlestad. Bruce center, Middlestad trying to stick handle his way through the Laker defense. Again, they do a good job. You've seen Middlestad try to do that a few times. He'll deke on the defense, but so far Prior Lake hasn't been biting on it. And Middlestad, 2 goals, 3 assists, and takes a nasty rebound. And still loose out there in front. Skyte's not able to cover it up. They look very comfortable making that save, but still got the job done and gave up a juicy rebound.
Yeah, good rip from the left point, and Skyte's did just enough. Crawling on all fours to the left of the crease, just pushing it away, and his teammates, of course, there to help bail out the goaltender and keep this a 1-score difference.
9:44 remaining in the third period. It's Eden Prairie still up 2-1 on Prior Lake. Don't forget, you can email us in the broadcast booth, psbchannel2gmail.com. Also, click that link below your game tracker screen if you'd like to send us a message throughout the evening. So face-off will be in the Prior Lake zone as the official will toss a puck into the bench. Perhaps those pockets getting a little too full. Actually, it was Prior Lake picking up a penalty, so it'll be Eden Prairie power play. Didn't see what happened at the end of the play there, but nonetheless, the Eagles will have the man advantage. Now it's Aguilar at the point across to Rail. Rail looking for someone on that back door, but nobody there. And now deflected outside the zone, a foot race. Aguilar against the Prior Lake player will just force his way to the net. And they come up empty on that shorthanded opportunity. Now the other way. It'll be dumped in by Nolan Sullivan. Played by DeRocher. Now it's Lieberman from behind the net. Power play goal here could conceivably put the game out of reach should Eden Prairie score, but a little sloppy here on their passes so far. Down to 48 seconds to work with. It's across to Lieberman. Lieberman looking for Graham, and a good defensive play there by Eider. And now a good blown dead with 38 seconds left on the Prior Lake power play. Tonight's game also brought to you by Athlete PT. Have an athlete in your family. Dr. Grant Norland over at their facility in Eden Prairie does a great job tailoring whatever specific workout you have to help your performance on the field. The state-of-the-art facility, Athlete PT. It's Athlete PT Find more by clicking that link above your game tracker screen, as Eden Prairie was just assessed a penalty, so we'll be 4-on-4 for 38 seconds before the Lakers will go on an abbreviated power play. Lieberman tried to work his way into the zone, but was poked away by the Prior Lake defense.
I mentioned Athlete PT catering toward athletes. Actually, if you're really anybody who wants to improve their physical conditioning and performance, if you play in a rec league or just want to be in better shape, Grant Norland at Athlete PT is the guy for you.
Has a good point. He does more than just help athletes. If you're just maybe a weekend warrior, can help you out as well. And Prior Lake is now full strength, so they'll be on a power play for about 1:18, as it'll be forced outside the zone. 2-1, Eagles still with the lead. Up ahead to Hanson. Hanson, a great play, and they leave it for number 10, Fellows, who's denied by DeRocher, who made a tremendous save off of a great pass from Hanson to Fellows.
Fellows just trying to sneak that one in between the skate and the near side post, but DeRocher closed out in a hurry, sealed that one off, and able to cover up just as quickly.
That was a great pass, as you saw on replay. Hanson threading that short pass through a couple of Eden Prairie defenders. But DeRocher with maybe his most impressive save of the season. There's a slap shot that goes wide. Under 7 minutes to go, third period, 35 seconds on the Laker power play. From the end wall, that'll hit the side of the cage. The Lakers maintain possession, as they'll send that up to the point to Clemens. Clemens back down low. They'll go over to the left side, and good pressure put on there by number 17, Cole Lawrence. And Lawrence will force it outside the zone. Time for one more rush with 10 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Using his stick handle was Hanson. Louis Rail will just flip it outside. And Eden Prairie's full strength. Watch out in transition. Here comes Clemens. Good back checking there by Casey Middlestad. Pattison there to clear it out. His bump. And pass that over to the right side. I'll throw it out to center. Here comes Tyler Bump. Good pass to the weak side. And another save made by the goaltender DeRocher. As that was Dalgard, who had a good opportunity there for the Lakers. 5:45, third period. Both teams full strength. Weak slap shot goes wide. Now they throw it back in front, looking for a bump on the centering pass, but it was picked off. Now it's Middlestad the other way. Middlestad again can't stick handle around the Prior Lake defense. And a nice job against him all game.
He did a great job sandwiching him in the slot, so he had no room to really stick handle or work in space.
Middlestad to Graham. And the far corner is tied up along the advertising, now to the end wall. That was Safran who got slammed against the wall. They'll pass it up to Boldenau. Boldenau will ring it around the end wall, or it's Safran. Safran up to the point to Sullivan. Sullivan shots deflected, now 2-on-2 for Prior Lake. And Dalgard lost it. Here comes Boldenau. Shot top of the circle. That blast will be turned away by Skites. And now a whistle with about 4.5 minutes remaining here in the third period. Eden Prairie still with a 2-1 lead.
You know, some teams with the one-goal advantage end up playing a little too conservatively or defensively, and that's not been the case so far for Eden Prairie, trying to add to their lead.
Chipped outside the zone. Here comes Prior Lake, but kind of running out of gas. It'll go into the ceiling. As we'll get a whistle. Kind of a low ceiling here at the Eden Prairie Community Center. See that occasionally happen. Not quite baseball rules where you can sometimes keep playing when it hits the roof. Was playable at the Metrodome, wasn't it? Unless
was.
It was like a speaker or something. It was something special, I thought.
It was. David Ortiz hit like a 500-foot home run, I remember, in one of the last years of, or would have been a home run in the last years at the Metrodome. It hit a speaker and landed in the field of play, and it was just like a single. He was so upset.
Well, the joys of having domed stadiums.
Yeah.
Now we'll get a face-off deep in the Prior Lake zone. Lakers starting to run out of time here, down to under 4.5 minutes. Kind of back to how they were playing in the first period, where they've had some transition opportunities, but not much sustained pressure, with the exception of that flurry they had at the beginning of the third. Looks like we'll re-drop the puck here in the Lakers zone. See the Prior Lake bench trying to holler for some kind of call. That's their coach Joe Packrens, who was fired up. Slap shot from Lieberman right into the leg of Fellows. And they'll sweep it into the Eden Prairie zone. DeRocher will throw that into the corner. Now back out in front. Nobody there to hit it. And that'll be poked to the end wall. And on the back door, they momentarily had Hansen open, but couldn't quite spin around and gain possession. Lieberman from the corner. They'll flip it up and outside the zone, or it'll be picked up by Lincoln Eider. Eider didn't have any points last year for Prior Lake, but he's had a very impressive game here for the Lakers. There's a shot to Rocher, just with a piece of that little flip from Connor Clemens to make the save, and now Eden Prairie will just dump it in. Under 3.5 remaining, third period. Eagles on top of the Lakers 2-1. And Lakers number 10 in the Let's Play Hockey rankings. Eden Prairie number 8, so can possibly be a state tournament preview here in this game. Off the wall, and they are able to get it outside the zone. Matt Damon want to saucer it in. Here's Boldenau behind the net. Boldenau to rail. And they're able to clear it out. Eider will pick it up for Prior Lake. Middlestad couldn't quite pick that off cleanly. They'll now just shoot it into the Lakers zone.
Eden Prairie is able to hold on by this final score. It would be their first victory when scoring fewer than 3 goals since 2013 or 2012-13.
Interesting stat to pass along to you. Another interesting one is that Prior Lake has been a team that's struggled on the road over the years. In fact, their road record just 2-9, dating back to last season. Is like they might pick up another loss if they can score here, but they're going to get a good opportunity as Michael Graham just picked up a penalty for Eden Prairie. Well, this is exactly what the doctor ordered here for the Lakers, with just over 2 minutes remaining in the period.
And taking out one of the best and most experienced players on the penalty kill for Eden Prairie.
We'll see if the Lakers can do anything with it. Interesting to see if at some point they consider pulling the goaltender to go 6-on-4. Might not be a bad idea with just over 2 minutes. Unlikely you give up an empty netter with 2 extra players on the ice. But Skites is still in net for Prior Lake at 1:53 in the third period and 1:28 on the power play.
I like how when you said that he was just on the ice. He wasn't actually in his net.
Close enough.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I was just panning over and I see an empty net. I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Well, the Lakers haven't had a lot of opportunities on the power play so far, as Aguilar will just clear it down deep into the Lakers zone. Eider being chased down by Pizon. 1:18, and now I think you got to pull Skites. Skites still between the pipes for Prior Lake. They'll have it in the corner. Now they get it over to Bump. And it's intercepted and cleared by Hastings.
Distinctly from my left, where the Prior Lake fans are, I heard some people shouting, "Pull the goalie," so they're agreeing with your sentiment as well.
I'm with it. Well, now you got to pull them. Got to take advantage of having 2 extra players on the ice. 49 seconds to go in the third period. 20 seconds remain on the power play. Net is empty for Prior Lake. They do have the 6-on-4 advantage, but right now it's tied up along the advertising. And if you're Eden Prairie, you'll take this the whole time. Now they get it away at the point. Shot through traffic. Goes wide of DeRocher. 5 seconds to go on the power play. And now it's cleared away with 27 seconds left in the game. Eden Prairie is full strength. Lakers starting to run out of time. And now it's Middlestad with the empty net. Couldn't quite work his way towards center. Now out in front. They still can't get a shot on goal. Very close to getting the empty netter. 5 seconds to go. 3 seconds. And Eden Prairie will get a hard fought 2-1 victory over Prior Lake. And as Kevin said, it'll be their first victory scoring under 3 goals in a game dating back to the 2012-2013 season. So a nice win here for the Eden Prairie Eagles as they knock off Prior Lake again by a score of 2-1. We'll take a timeout, have the Sun Current post-game show on the way next. You're watching high school hockey here on PS Media.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com.
And welcome back to the Eden Prairie Community Center as it's the Eagles on top of Prior Lake by a final score of 2-1. As Eden Prairie has back-to-back victories over top 10 opponents here to begin the season as they win a low-scoring defensive battle here against the Lakers. Post-game show is brought to you by the Sun Current here in the Southwest Metro area of Eden Prairie. They've been your community news source for over 50 years in the area. That's the Sun Current. They're also now mobile user-friendly, so you can check out the latest local news while you're out on the go. Whether it's politics, school board news, community events, sports, that's the Sun Current. Current.mnsun.com. That's current.mnsun.com. Let's go ahead and give you a scoring recap of tonight's game. All 3 goals were scored back in the second period. Prior Lake got on the scoreboard first at the 14:24 mark, scoring on the power play to give them a 1-0 lead. Eden Prairie then responded at the 11:46 mark. Just after a Prior Lake power play to score, it was Nick Lieberman, his first ever varsity goal. And the Eagles scored again at the 5:17 mark. Lieberman again got the goal. So a guy who got his first varsity goal, scored 2 of them tonight, so not bad for him, as he had the game winner at 5:17 of the second period. That was on the power play for the Eagles. And looking at special teams numbers, Prior Lake was 1 for 5 on the power play. Eden Prairie 1 for 4 for their part. And overall, Kevin, have to like what you saw for Eden Prairie. Wasn't the prettiest of victories, not quite like the walloping they put on Maple Grove on Tuesday, which was a very impressive victory, but still take it nonetheless against a Prior Lake team, which a lot of people consider a contender to get to the state tournament.
Well, I think Prior Lake is in a better position to win right now than Maple Grove was. Eden Prairie, for whatever reason, might have caught in the Crimson on an off night because they're better than what they played. They just played really anxious, hurried, and kind of without confidence as well, especially from their own end. And Eden Prairie just came out firing and torching that Crimson team en route to 8 goals. Again tonight, though, have to be impressive with Eden Prairie because this was a close game, their first, more or less test of the season, given the outcome being just a 1-goal game. And they came through, just outstanding play from back to front. You start with DeRocher, guys like Lieberman and Sullivan, Aguilar, to name a few defensively. And then, offensively, I know the first line, I believe, weren't the top three players, at least offensively, weren't involved. Maybe they were with any scoring on assists or whatever. I didn't get the assist tallies, but Middlestad and Graham, obviously dynamic playmakers, and they brought their games tonight. Again, credit to Prior Lake for limiting Graham and Middlestad's opportunities, not going for those stick-handling fakes, and just kind of bodying up those players in space to really prevent them from getting out into open ice and making things happen. Prior Lake has some talents defensively, offensively, some real hard shooters as well. So I look forward to kind of following them as the season progresses and see where they end up as well.
Yeah, a lot of people feel they could make a run in Section 2 with some of those other squads besides Edina possibly having some down years. I know some people have been saying that teams like Bloomington, Jefferson, Burnsville might be going through some rebuilding, so it could open the door for Prior Lake to make a run at the two-time defending champions Edina. Although in their previous matchups against Edina, things have not gone well. 0-5 in their past 5 matchups, with the Hornets being outscored 34-5, but of course, still a while before you can start talking about section playoffs. Eden Prairie, a nice victory for them as they start the season 2-0 for actually the 3rd consecutive season. Our next broadcast of EP Hockey will be on Thursday when they take on the Eastview Lightning here at the Eden Prairie Community Center. Make sure you tune in to psbmn.com to watch that game, as you can watch it from your computer and any mobile device as well. As we're looking forward to that matchup, as Eastview, even though they were down a little bit last year, they did go to the state tournament 2 years ago. They've always put together some good competitive squads over in Section 3AA. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for helping make possible our broadcasts of Eden Prairie Boys High School Hockey and also Eden Prairie Athletics in general, including the Mulch Store, great community source for landscaping products and landscaping materials. Also the Tavern on 4 and 5, Athlete PT, the Sun Current, Noodles and Company, Minnesota Hockey Magazine, and many others as well. For Kevin Hagstrom, this is Brett Johnson signing off for the evening. Again, it's Eden Prairie beating Prior Lake this evening by a score of 2-1 right here on PSP.
Thanks for tuning in to live, local, play-by-play coverage of tonight's game. Catch all the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports, PSB Media. Tonight's game was brought to you by The Mulch Store, Umbria Gourmet Pizzeria, Athlete PT, Noodles and Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine, the Pioneer Press, and BEC TV. You can find an archived broadcast of tonight's game available 24/7 on psbmn.com.